Alright, hello everybody and welcome back to another video. This video is going to be about learning SQL through W3 School's examples. For those who don't know, SQL is basically a database markup language or lookup language. Basically, it lets you work with databases that can contain hundreds, thousands, or even millions of values, and it's a very good way to kind of, if you're working in GIS or data analysis, it's a very useful skill to have. So I'm not going to go over exactly the most in-depth details about SQL, and so we're just going to be going over some of the exercises, and I'll try to explain my process as best I can. So without further ado, let's get started. So we're going to start with our first exercise. We want to insert the missing statement to get all columns from the customers table. Now, the table is, again, basically our database of values. Our values in our database. So we want to select, obviously because we're under select. So we're going to type in select. Now this is correct. Basically, we're just selecting the whole customers table. So for example, we type in select, then an asterisk, then from, and customers. That's how we select the whole table. So we're going to submit our answer, correct. Second exercise, we want to write a statement that will select the city column from the customers table. So there's a column, in our table there are several columns. I'll get to that a little bit later, and which columns exactly are on our table. Basically, we just need to know that we have a city column from the customers table. So we want to write a statement that will select the city column from the customers table. And by the way, the table can be found on a W3 School's SQL tutorial. I'm not going to show it in this video. Maybe another video. Yeah, I just need to go through the exercise. You don't really need to know what's in the table, so that's kind of why I'm skipping it. So again, we want to select the city column from the customers table. So we want to go back to select. We want to select city from. So the city column from. So we'll type in city and then from. And I was correct. Now notice that since we just selected the city column, we didn't actually use the asterisk yet, on this particular example. So that's an interesting thing to note. Next, we want to select all the different values from the country column in the customers table. Here we'll start with select, as we always do. We'll select all the different values from the country column in the customers table. Now, to select different values, we're not going to type in different, we're going to type in distinct. And so now we have select, in caps, distinct, country from customers. Now, SQL is not a case-sensitive language. You can easily type in, for example, in lowercase, but sometimes it's just, useful to kind of type in uppercase for some things like select. Well, if we just submit an answer, again, we got it correct. So now we're moving on to where. Now, our first exercise is select all records where the city column has the value Berlin. So we already have our select asterisk from customers, select all from customers, which means that. And we have the where word, so we will type in where here. Then looking for the city has the value of Berlin, so city equals Berlin. That's sort of self-explanatory, so we're going to type in city equals. And we're going to need some quotation marks around. You can use double quotes or you can use single quotes. It doesn't matter. It works perfectly the same. And we did that correct. So our exercise, use the not keyword to select all records where city is not Berlin. So again, we have select asterisk from customers, where, type in where. Then we're going to go for not city equals Berlin. So we have select from customers, where not city equals Berlin. And that is correct. Select all records where the customer ID has a value of 32. Okay, this is quite easy. Select all from customers, where, or select asterisk from customers, we mean select all from customers, where customer ID, because we're using math, here, we're using numbers, we're going to say customer ID equals, and we're going to put in 32. So we have select from customers, select asterisk from customers, where customer ID equals 32. That's correct. Select all records where the city column has the value Berlin and the postal code column has the value 12209. So again, we have our select asterisk because we're selecting everything. Then our where, again, we've come back to where city equals Berlin. And then because we have and here, we're looking for the value that has Berlin and the postal code column has value 12209. We're going to type in and then we have postal code. Because we're doing the and postal code column, we're calling the postal code column, it's 1209. That's correct. Select all records where the city column has a value Berlin or London. So again, start select asterisk from customers where city equals Berlin. And then because we have Berlin or London, we're not going to use and, we're going to use or. So we have or city equals London because we had Berlin earlier. I'm going to put in London. So select from customers where city equals Berlin or city equals London. Yeah, that's correct. So select all records from the customers table, sort the result alphabetically by the column city. So we want to order the results alphabetically. So we're going to type in order by, and then we want to find the column city. So it's pretty simple. We just type in city right after. That's correct. Select all records from the customers table, sort the result reversed alphabetically by column city. So again, we just do very much the same thing. We start with order by because we are ordering this by. We type in city. And now, because we're reversing the alphabetical order, we want to go in the other direction. So we're going to type in descending, or DESC, which is short for descending. So our complete line is select from customers, select all records from customers, order by city descending. That's correct. Select all records from the customers table, sort the result alphabetically, first by columns country and then by column city. So again, because it's going to be alphabetical, we don't need to add anything else. We just need to add order by. And now we're going to type in the first column, just country. It'll order first by this column, and then it'll order the rest by city. So we have select from customers, order by country and city. So that's correct. Okay, SQL insert a new record in the customers table. So again, we can see I mentioned before this customers table has a value. So it has rows, for example, like customer name, address, city, postcode, and country. So that's been some of the information we've been using. Now I want to insert these into our new table, and you can see that each one of them corresponds to a certain attribute in the table. So for example, Heckenberger would fall under customer name, got vein 15, address, and so forth. So it's very simple. For insert, we want to do insert into, and we want to insert into customers because customers just came after. Because we have a bunch of values here, we want to close it in brackets. So we have open bracket and close bracket. Now to actually set our values for these attributes, we want to just type in values. These are the values we want to append to our table or just add to our table. And again, we need brackets. So we have open brackets and close brackets. That should give us a correct answer. So, and finally for this video, we're going to go over null. So it's quite easy. Our first exercise is select all records from the customers table where the postal code column is empty. So select from customers where postal code, and because we're using a string or words, characters, letters, numbers, whatever you want to call them, we're going to write is instead of equals. It's not math, basically. And we want to select where it's empty, and we want to, instead of typing in empty, we'll type in null. So as you can see here, we have select asterisk from customers, select all from customers, where postal code is null. So it's null, and it should give us the correct answer. Oops, my bad. Select all records from the customers table where the postal column is not empty. So very simply, we'll just do basically what we did before. We did postal code, type in is, and of course because we want it so it's not empty, we'll just type in not, and then we'll just type in null. So we have here select asterisk from customers where postal code is not null. And that's the correct answer. So it's pretty easy. We didn't spend a whole lot of time on this. These are basically just the first 5 kind of exercises in W3 School's kind of quiz tutorial sort of thing. Yeah, basically, that's enough for this video. Be sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.